Women, cover your heads. Men, uncover your heads.
Stand face the rules. We'll open up for Bible study.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory forever.
and the glory forever.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. All right, we are open for question and answer. Like I say, we don't have to do it all day because when it gets darker here, probably than most places in the United States, as far as when the Sabbath is over with. And then also, in addition to that, it's like 50, probably 50 streams right now of Bible study. So, you know what I'm saying? We can get it in. We can get it in as we need to. So, my first, those are mine?
Yes.
Thank you, sis.
I didn't want to get in the camera.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, what we looking at is, we're open for question and answer. Is there any questions in house? Any questions we got in house? I know I do have one. So I'll go ahead. Jessica, you still got a question?
Yeah, my question was about the covenant with Elder Death that you spoke about.
Ah, yeah. See, I forgot all about that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's turn to Isaiah 24. So here's what her question was. And it's based off of the lesson taught last night at Burning Midnight Oil, in which we were talking about being under a covenant with death. And so what I was showing last night is that Israel, had made a covenant with God, but we broke that covenant and we made a covenant with death. And what she was saying, it was a big deal when we made the covenant with God. He sprinkled up the people with blood in Exodus 24. Was it a big deal when we broke the covenant? And we're going to see what the book says. So the first place we're going to go to actually is Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24. And let's start reading verse 1. We're going to read 1 through 6. And one of the things that we learned, and really what I was sharing with the viewing audience yesterday. Go ahead, sis.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I was just about to.
Thank you.
No problem. One of the things that we was dealing with yesterday was the covenants, because lately people have been trying to say we ain't got to keep the commandments. We under a new covenant. And so what I began to show last night is the original covenant was not made with Israel. The original covenant was made with Abraham. And from Abraham, we showed that it went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, which is Israel. And then as a nation, we made a covenant in Exodus 24 with God. And then we broke that covenant. And so now the question is, well, you're under a covenant or with the covenant with who? Are you under the old covenant, the new covenant? And what I was teaching last night is per individual, those that have been baptized, we are under a new covenant. We are no longer under our old covenant. But what was our old covenant? For those that have not been baptized, they aren't under a new covenant. They are under the covenant of death. And that's what I showed last night in Burning Midnight Oil. So we're going to look at a couple of scriptures to understand. And that's where her question is, how is it that we're under a covenant with death? And when we say we're not even talking about we as in us in here, because we're going to see we have disannulled our covenant, or the Lord disannulled our covenant. So we're going to get there. So let's pick this up, Isaiah 24, verse 1 through 6, and then we'll jump over to Isaiah 28. When you get there, go ahead.
Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof.
Yeah.
And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest.
Right.
As with the servant, so with his master.
And that's something to remember. So it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest, meaning we're going to follow lead. Go ahead.
As with the maid, so with the mistress.
Yes.
As with the buyer, so with the seller.
Right.
As with the lender, so with the borrower.
Go ahead.
As with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury.
Keep reading.
To him. The land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, For the Lord has spoken this word.
All right, so here we go, verse 4 and 5. Go ahead.
The earth mourneth
Yes.
and fadeth away,
Yes.
and the world
Language.
the world languisheth and fadeth away.
Yes.
The haughty people of the earth do languish.
Why?
The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof,
Okay, so watch this, sis. Go ahead.
because they have transgressed the laws,
So he's saying the earth is defiled because it has transgressed or broken the laws. Go ahead.
changed the ordinances,
Change the ordinances and what else?
broken the everlasting covenant.
So the earth, the people of the earth don't even broke the covenant with God. That's what he's showing us here. But he's showing you how. Because we transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances. Verse 6, go ahead.
Therefore have the curse devoured the earth,
He said the curse devoured the whole earth. Go ahead.
and they that dwell therein are desolate.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
That's good. Now let's jump over to Isaiah chapter 20. And we're gonna do what we're gonna do is something different from last night, sis. I think I read Isaiah 28 and stopped at like 15 or something. We're gonna run it down some more. And what she's trying to understand, or not even understand, her basis of the question is like we made a covenant with death, and really Isaiah 24 was answering your question. How did we break it? Because we start breaking the law, but it actually said, and we broke the everlasting covenant. Well, no, it didn't have to be.
Like a swear.
Yeah, because her thing and what she's saying is making a lot of sense too. Like, so she's saying, well, how are we in a covenant with death? Because we vowed, like when you get married, it's a marriage ceremony.
Right.
But it don't have to be. You see what I'm saying? To get married, you don't have to have a marriage ceremony. It's what we do. But what she's saying is typically when you see people make vows or when vows are exchanged or something, it's generally something. Like even when I bought my house, it was like it was still kind of like a grand thing. Like we walked in there with the lawyers, baby. You know, they hit with the book of papers, just sign. Oh Lord, have mercy, I ain't never signed so much. So the point I'm getting at, but it don't always have to be like that. But you got to understand what it's just like. I give you a perfect example. A man and a woman lie down together. They wake up the next morning. Like now. Are they married when they lie down? No, but he's supposed to take her to be his wife. So he might be like, all right, so what we gonna do? They could vow it out right there. Should anyway. You know what I mean? But they could vow it out right there. It's a wrap. Meaning it don't matter that they didn't have a ceremony. You stuck. You can't go nowhere. Y'all done vowed it out.
Don't they need witnesses
I
though?
was gonna ask that.
Nah, put it to you. Here, let me answer that better. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. No, you don't need no witness for that. Why? Let's say, I don't want to use me and him.
Oh no.
And I definitely don't want to use them two, but okay, perfect example. Right. So let's go to Ecclesiastes first. We're gonna come back to this Isaiah, and then we're gonna read this, and then we're gonna I got what you saying, and I'm gonna tell you why yay and nay. Remember, it say that let a matter be established by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. So y'all both testifying of the same thing. That's 2 witnesses. But we'll get there though. We'll get there. Ecclesiastes, and we're gonna finish your question. Ecclesiastes, pick it up in verse 4. I'm sorry.
Where?
Chapter 5, verse 4. My bad. One verse though. Go ahead.
Better is that thou.
Ecclesiastes 5 and 4.
Okay.
Chapter 5, verse 4.
Oh, when thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it. For he have no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou owest.
So if you and
Wait, what I said the wrong.
yeah, you just at the verse above it, and then it was all good. Or you was at the verse 5.
Yeah.
But so look, when you make a vow, you gotta pay it. I don't care nothing. So it don't matter if you have a witness or not. Like I made a vow, I gotta pay it. I ain't need no witness. My vow is I only drink during the feast. You know what I'm saying? When you make a vow, so if a man and a woman was to lie down and then they woke up that next morning, like, hey, we vowing to, be together forever. That's just like saying somebody might be like when they talk about the betrothed, right? And they say that if the betrothed, basically if you lie down with the betrothed, that's like adultery. Because she still was vowed or obligated to somebody else. So it basically, matter of fact, let's read that real quick. Let's go to Numbers. I think it's Numbers, maybe Deuteronomy. Hold on. I'm going to know when I get there. Deuteronomy. Oh, you know, huh? Deuteronomy chapter 22. and we're gonna read verse 25. So betrothed is not. It's funny. Betrothed is not necessarily. It's not complete of the marriage. Okay, so it's what I would say this husband and wife was before they got married. I would say they was betrothed.
What, engaged is that the same thing?
I guess so, but not really because engaged is kind of like you know them two. And when I say it's like them two, I'm saying because he like they in control of their own life. They got engaged. They got betrothed. They got something. They had a little something else, a little more biblical going on. Huh? What you say? Huh?
I'm looking like, what's the difference?
Oh, I'm about to get cut. It was kind of like I ain't really want to put all the business out there, but just put it to you like this: they didn't lay down till they got married,
Okay.
but they was for all practical purposes they was betrothed. That's the only way I can. It was
All right, just like Mary.
huh?
She was betrothed to Joseph.
Yes.
Okay, so if she knew
Yes.
she didn't lay with a man.
Right, and then notice with Mary, it was like, yo, when he thought she laid with somebody, he said I was gonna put her away. That's what a husband does to a wife,
Right.
even though but it was like basically the agreement was already made that hey, we gonna do this. Blah, like you see Pops right here. Like I remember when she wasn't married, Pops wasn't playing. No, he wasn't. And the whole I'm still good job, young man. No, but I'm just saying though, like Pops wasn't playing that. You know what I'm saying? So it had to be a right way. You know what I mean? And they was more betrothed than engaged.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning when I see them, I know he went to dad, and dad say yay or nay.
Right.
Whereas, you know, and I'm not saying he might didn't go to her father, but if he would have said no, what y'all was gonna do? You understand what I'm saying? They was already gonna say, well, sorry, Pops, but we kind of already, you know what I'm saying? They grown. Like, and when I say that, grown from a mental capacity that I'm not asking you for your permission. I'm kind of just letting you know this is what we doing. So I would say that's more of an engagement, more of an American thing. Or more of a, more of an American thing, where a man and a woman making their own
Decision.
moves and decisions, whereas betrothed is more, you dealing with dad. You know what I'm saying? That's who hold the vows. It's more like that. So we'll read this one verse here. Deuteronomy 22 and read verse 25.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field,
You all right?
and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Yeah, keep going.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
Hold on, that's not the one I wanted though. Because it's gonna say if she betrothed and she don't say nothing. So maybe I need to go up a little higher. Then if a man find lie with the woman married, no, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed to her husband, the man fire in the field. Yeah. So let's go up to 22 and 23.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shall they put away evil from Israel. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then he shall bring them both out unto the gates of the city,
Right.
and he shall stone them with stones,
Wow.
that they die.
Go ahead.
The damsel, because she cried not.
Right, but why? But she didn't belong to nobody. Then typically he would take her to be his wife. But nah, you was already betrothed, meaning you was vowed out. So that means I went, to your husband and was like, hey, I want your daughter, you know what I'm saying, to be, and he said, yeah. So now I'm doing whatever I'm supposed to do to have the daughter. If he say 50 shekels, or like in Jacob's case, he had to work the land, whatever it was. So I'm upholding my end of our agreement for your daughter. That's a little different. That's the difference that's what betrothed is. You know what I mean? So, but then if she go in line with somebody else, cause she done been vowed to be with this man already. See, that's the part that we not getting. Your word is supposed to be bond. That's the part. So when you say something, That's why I say you can lie down with a woman. Not that you should, but if you do, you can wake up that morning and be like, all right, you know what we just did. What we gonna do next? Well, I'm supposed to take you to be my wife. So y'all can make that vow then. Now, should you continue the process and go get a piece of paper if you like?
Oh, okay.
Or if you want to have a ceremony amongst that, like if you want to announce it, you can do all that you want to do. But at the end of the day, y'all know what y'all just sat there and did in the eyes of God. So what you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna keep the commandments or not. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't take it. You don't go into back to you. Well, what about the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses? Like we just said, you make a vow, you keep it. I don't have to have. Like, let's go to this Numbers real quick, chapter 30. I don't need 2 or 3 witnesses to make a vow. Numbers chapter 30. And so the origin of her question again was, so we had basically a marriage ceremony when we made the covenant with God. When he sprinkled the blood, all that, why we ain't have no divorce proceedings? Well, when you think about it, we don't typically have, you know what I'm saying? The divorce proceedings ain't what you want. And our divorce with the Lord was a little uglier than what, the world gonna see. But let's read this and then we're gonna get back to the question. So we're gonna go to Numbers 30 and we're gonna look at a vow. So pick it up at verse 2.
If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth.
Now here's the thing. So let's say, I don't like, okay, so let's just say me and Cassandra, right? We made vows, right? And let's say, we lied down, we made vows, I'm gonna be the husband, she gonna be the wife. Now, she might turn around and be like, 2 days later, I ain't do that. You know what I mean? That's why you want to have witnesses. So can't nobody back out of their obligation. Not to say that you got to have a witness to confirm. Y'all made vows. You don't need nobody to confirm your vow with God. But like I say, the 2 or 3 witnesses is so that I don't be like, like I know what I said, but I ain't say that. Now what? You got proof? You got a witness? You see what I'm saying? That's when you would need, that's why it would behoove you to have witnesses if this is what you're doing. Because ultimately, if you're going to be married to somebody, it's going to be known, that part. But anyway, if a man vow unto the Lord, swear an oath to bind his soul with his bond, he should not break his word. He should do according to all that proceed out of his mouth. Verse 3, go ahead.
If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house.
Now, check this out, because that's what marriage is. It's a vow. So a woman can say, a woman, perfect example with Nate and his wife. So they could have got together like, hey, we want to get married? Yeah, we want to get married. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? They with it. We going, all right, August 29th. You know what I'm saying? Like, they going to set the date, everything. All right. So that's cool. Keep going, though. Keep reading.
And her father hear.
Pop's here. Go ahead.
Hear her vow.
Right.
And her bond wherewith she hath bond her soul.
Right.
And her father shall hold his peace.
See, so a woman can hold her own vow if daddy hold his peace. Like he here, like I got daughters. If Micaiah come to me, I'm interested in, whatever the boy is at school, whatever. And I want to, even if she's saying, so I want to start dating him. Nah, that don't even exist in my world. But if I say nothing, then she can hold to her own. That's why I know not to say nothing. And she know not to even come, don't even try to get that in my house. Because we just don't date. Like that's American. But that's, you know what I'm saying? That don't mean that y'all ain't gonna get to know each other, but we don't do the date. So anyway, but she can make her own vow. That's what people be missing. A woman can make her own vows. It's just that if her husband hear the vow and he don't agree with it, he can be like, no, we're not gonna do that. Keep reading. Let it tell his own story. Go ahead.
And her father shall hold his peace at her.
Yeah.
Then all her vows shall stand,
mm-hmm.
and every bond wherewith she have bond her soul shall stand.
Right.
But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth,
right,
not any of her vows or her bonds wherewith she have bond her soul shall stand.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her.
Right. Why is the Lord forgiving her? Because technically, it came out her mouth. Like I'm gonna go give to the poor. So technically, you lying because you didn't do that. You know, Jessica come to you. Yeah, I'm gonna go down there with y'all Sunday and feed the homeless. Then you don't show up. Like, even though her daddy might have been like, or her husband, however you don't, whichever way. Like, and now if you have a husband, then it's not your dad. I'm saying whichever, it's one of the two. Either your husband or your dad. That's who it is. Now, she can say, well, my daddy told me not to come. I can't go down there because they do drugs down there. It don't matter the point. But the point is, she still lied, but it's not charged against her. She didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't know that, hey, they was going to disannul the vow. Well, it still wasn't the truth that came out of her mouth. We're not going to act like when she said that was true because it didn't happen. But the Lord is saying he going to forgive that, no problem, because he's setting it up that way. What verse are we at?
6.
Verse 5, he said, but if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vows or her bonds wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her. So again, just going back to that part, yes, a marriage ceremony is in the Bible. We see it a couple of times. But do you have to have a marriage ceremony to be husband and wife? That's the word I like to use best. Because there's a difference to me in marriage and husband and wife. Do y'all know the difference? There's a difference between being married and husband and wife. Do y'all know the difference? Two men can be married, can't they? Right. Can't be husband and wife. It's a difference. So when you look at marriage, by term, it's a union. You know what I'm saying? You be married to your job. You can be married to a lot of stuff. But for you to be husband and wife, y'all can make those vows. And like we said, the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a ceremony, that would be good. But if you make vows to the Lord, you backing out on them. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, nah, Cassandra, I'm good, sis. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you a liar to her and you a liar to God because you made the vow. Don't matter how many people witnessed it. So going back to what we was looking at, Isaiah 28, and we still going back because the origin of the question is, hey, when they made a covenant, when you make your baptism, because that's you coming up under the covenant with God. It's like like when Jesus got baptized, you see a dove come down and this is my beloved son who I'm well pleased. Like, yo, that's cold. Well, why didn't when we disannul our covenant, why didn't we have what? But we are going to see a scripture to kind of help us. So Isaiah 28 now, and let's pick it up at verse 13. We'll start at 13 and we're going to run it down till about 20. Go ahead.
But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken.
Go ahead.
Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Because he have said, we have made a covenant with death.
See, so here it is. It's not even so much like this ain't nothing to celebrate. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of like this. We supposed to be married to, as a man, he's supposed to be married to a woman. It's kind of like saying, I'm about to go get married to a man. Like, we ain't doing this at nobody church and nobody, you know what I mean? We don't even need to be at the beach with this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's dead wrong. So it's nothing to celebrate, really.
So that's like making a covenant with death, marrying another man, because that's going to equal death.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's nasty. Go ahead, keep reading.
And with hell are we at agreement.
See, so he's saying our agreement is with hell, but why? Because the wages of sin is death. And we out here sinning, we breaking the covenant. So now it's like, yo, we going to hell. That's us. Our sin is doing that to us. It's not that we have to make a vow to death or hell. You know what I'm saying? Like some Satanists or something. You might look at the Satanists or vampire movie or something, and you like, yeah, they don't win it. They don't did a whole drink or ceremony. Like, no, all you gotta do is start sinning. The wages of sin is death, and now you making a covenant with death. All you gotta do is here. I'll show you in a minute. We're gonna read this and then one more. Go ahead.
When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us.
Go ahead.
For we have made lies our refuge,
See, this is how we made our covenant with death. We done made lies our truths. Go ahead.
and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, a stone,
So he's saying, but I got Jesus though, and he gonna do something for us. Go ahead.
a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste.
Keep reading.
Judgment also will I lay to the line,
Skip to 18.
and your covenant with death shall be disannulled.
So now we seeing the disannulment of our covenant is through Jesus. You see what I'm getting at? So it's like, you know, he's bringing, I didn't read this part last night. You know what I'm saying? But he's saying your covenant with death shall be disannulled. Go ahead.
and your agreement with hell shall not stand.
Uh-huh.
When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then he shall be trodden down by it.
Right. So he just letting us know, like, you know, he gonna come and disannul. Jesus he comes to disannul that agreement we made with death. But the agreement we made with death is based off of like Isaiah 24. We done went and turned to iniquity. That's all we had to do to get in bed with death. Let's look at one more on this note. Isaiah, chapter 50. Isaiah chapter 50, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 50, verse 1. And read that right there.
Thus saith the Lord,
Yeah.
where is the bill of your mother's divorce?
So this is the Lord. He talking about divorcing Israel. So it's like this is us coming up under that covenant with death. When you done broke up with the Lord, divorced the Lord, then the Lord is life. Everything else is death. It does say the Lord, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement? Go ahead. Oh, whom have I put away? Go ahead.
Whom have
No,
I
you're
put
right.
away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you?
Yeah.
Behold, for your iniquities have he sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away.
Question answered. Very good. Praise the Lord. Did y'all get it though? Okay, like because I think he was asking too what the question was or something. But so basically, that's the answer to her question. Like through our iniquities and our transgression, the Lord put us away. He divorced us, and we made a covenant with death. Now we come from up under that covenant of death at our baptisms. That's when at your baptism, like let's look at something else real quick. Let's go to Peter real fast. See what your baptism do. We're gonna go to I think it's 1 Peter, or maybe 2nd. Hold on, no, I'm getting old. Catching up with me. Yeah, I think it's 1 Peter. Should be chapter 1. Let's see, for as much in by whom being born again. That's not what I'm looking for. I hate that. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna find it. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna cheat now. Baptism saves. All right, let's see. 1 Peter chapter 3. I was never gonna find where I was looking. And verse, 21. Hold on. No. Yeah. Oh, that's because I'm not there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Dang, I was just on the wrong page. All right. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 21. Look at that. Go ahead.
The like figure whereunto even baptism doth also now save us.
So if you notice here, it's showing you like the baptism saves you. You know what I'm saying? Because you was under a covenant with death. Now your marriage with the Lord, your baptism, when you become a son of God, you see, he's saying now that saved you. That takes you, that's disannulling your covenant with death. Your baptism is. Because now you're coming into a covenant with the Lord. So hopefully that helped clear it up a little bit. Yes? Okay. More. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and address this question here. So why is it that women can come to class unclean? So first thing, go ahead, sis.
When you said that actually did bring up a question in my mind.
Yes,
Sorry, I lost my voice, guys.
it's okay. Where did it go?
I don't know.
Like around the corner and up the street?
Hopefully not too
Just
far,
playing.
because that sound like my dad. So with that topic, right, I have a question about certain things with that, with what we do kind of keep with certain laws and we don't when it comes to a woman being unclean and still coming to church, right? I know we're not in our land, so there was places that we could have went before during a Sabbath class. And that question also comes with a woman's purification. If I was to have child today, does that, because in a sense I'm still unclean, but I do come here to church when I am unclean. So where does it come from? Do I still keep that purification, or that was a question that I did have.
No doubt. So let's level with ourselves. For real. We right next to the Jamaicans and the fish joint. Believe you me, I don't care how unclean you is, you ain't more unclean than them over there. No, but still, unclean is always unclean. When a woman is on her cycle, I don't care. When Jesus Christ come back, she's still gonna be unclean. When a man see the copulation come out, I don't care when it is. I don't care if it's in the shower. He's still gonna be unclean. Those are the rules. And we're gonna read some of these rules. Pork, don't matter when it is, how, whatever it is, it's always gonna be unclean. So, when a woman's on her cycle, man is not supposed to lie down with her. Period. Point blank. Let's go ahead and read Leviticus. And we're going to read this law of purification. I think it's Leviticus 15, maybe. I'll know when I get there. Because it's something key that we got to understand on. It's not about do we still do anything. And it's not about, no, I want this. I want Leviticus 15. We can go to 12 too, though. That's about, the 12 is about the childhood and stuff. So we're going to get to that, having a baby. So it's not about us not being in our land, because it was never about us not being in our land to start with, or us being in the land while we separated our women when they were anybody when they was unclean. So we're going to see exactly what it is. So I don't make you read the whole chapter. I'll read a little bit, then I'm going to tell you where to pick up at. So I'm going to start at 15:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man have a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanliness in the issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanliness. Every bed whereon he lieth that have the issue is unclean. Everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until evening. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat having the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean till evening. Long story short, when you unclean, you basically, most times you just unclean until eat. Like, for example, if us being right here, if we touch the wall and if we touching the other side of the shrimp fryer or whatever, however you want to make yourself look at it, you're going to be unclean till eat. All right. So that's number one. But let's jump to the women and then really why? Because that's all that matters. Because the question is, can we come here when we unclean? The answer is absolutely 100% correct. As a matter of fact, you can go anywhere on God's great earth unclean right now. There's not a place, not a church, not the Israel of God, the house of Jacob. And I love Brother Danny, and I got in trouble for this before with Brother Danny, because they keep the cleanliness law. And I'm gonna tell you, if you go into Brother Danny's church, no, I'm not. I got in trouble for that. Like, I'm not, because we're gonna see why. But they do keep the cleanliness law. And I said when I got in trouble that house rules is house rules, is what I said. If you go to UPS and they tell you to wear brown, you're gonna wear brown. So, but I was at the house of Jacob for 3.5 years, and fortunately, Raquel stayed pregnant, so she wasn't too many times having a cycle. But when she did have them, you was coming to church with me. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna show you why. So let's just get down to it. So let's jump down to verse 28, and we're gonna run into it. Go ahead, 28, and take it all the way down.
But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number herself 7 days.
Yes.
And after that she shall be clean.
Right.
And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles and 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of
Right.
congregation.
Right.
And the priest shall offer the one for sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness.
Okay, so we know absolutely we can't do none of that, but that don't matter. Here's the reason why we aren't trying to, we have, what I want to say. Let's just read it and I'll let it say itself. Go ahead.
Thus shall he separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness,
Yeah.
that they die not in their uncleanness,
Why?
when they defile my tabernacle that is among them.
Man, this ain't no tabernacle around here of the Lord no more.
Mhm.
That's the point. It was never about any building. It was about a particular tabernacle that you can't defile. Now, don't get it twisted. If me and my wife at home and she unclean, then I'm gonna be unclean. That means when I walk out the door, anybody that I deal with is gonna be unclean. So I better not go deal with the tabernacle. Why? Go ahead, keep reading.
This is the law of him that have an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him therewith, and of her that is sick of her flower, and of him that is, and of him that
It's just telling us the same thing, but at the end of the day, that they die not in their uncleanness. So you're gonna die, I'm at 31, when they defile my tabernacle. So when you defile in the Lord's tabernacle, let's go look and see exactly what that is. Let's go to we could go to Exodus chapter 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, or we can go to Hebrews 9. So we're gonna go to Hebrews.
That is not like a tabernacle, like your tabernacle.
No, we're gonna look and see exactly. We're gonna see exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna see. It's gonna literally tell us what it is. So we ain't even gotta guess.
Hebrews what?
Hebrews chapter 9. We ain't even got it. But I feel what you asking. He like, so you don't define my body, because some people say the body is the top. No, we're literally talking about a specific place that you couldn't defile. Now, so understand something. Look, we can't get away. I'm gonna read it to you. We can't get away from uncleanliness. So your efforts to, keep the cleanliness law really are futile. But like I respect though. For example, me, I'm not lying in the bed with my wife when she's her cycle. Now, can I? Yes. You understand? Like I can, because it's not stopping nothing. But that's just my own personal. You understand what I'm saying? Like I don't like I'm trying to do something to respect the fact you on your cycle. So we got a whole week of not the same. Whatever you know what I mean? Like whatever it was. So I'm just trying to respect. I don't think I'm not clean though. I mean, I don't think I'm clean walking around here. Like I ain't never clean. I got 3 daughters. Like, come on, man. Or 2 anyway that have, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't finna work. Cause you touch something out, it ain't finna work. But here's the tabernacle. Pick it up, Hebrews 9:1. Hebrews 9:1. When you get there, go ahead.
Then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service,
Yes.
and worldly sanctuary.
What else?
For there was a tabernacle made.
This the tabernacle that he talking about that you can't defile that's among them. He said a tabernacle was made, right? What about it?
The first wherein was the candlestick.
So in this tabernacle was the candlestick. What else was at the tabernacle?
And the table.
Yep.
And the showbread.
Right.
Which is called the sanctuary.
What else?
And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of holies.
So look what we talking about. We talking about a place that's called the holiest of all. Yes, we don't need anybody in here on their cycle, and we don't need brothers in here with leprosy. You got posts coming out your arms or something. Like none of that stuff need to go on while we in here. This place need to be clean and sanctified. Remember, we talked about this when I was here at the atonement. How if this was the veil, like behind there, ain't nobody going, but once a year. So it need to stay that way. And this ain't the tabernacle was so cold, the priests had to make sure they had on the word I think was breeches, underwear. They were going to get killed for not wearing underwear. So the Lord wasn't playing about his tabernacle. So yeah, you can't come up in there while you unclean. Now let's go back to Isaiah 24. Because we came here earlier. Isaiah chapter 24. And like I said, this question came in during the week, and cause sisters be, staying home when they unclean in some cases, And it's cool too. Like if that's what floats your boat, I'm gonna tell you like this: you ain't getting no holy convocation. Then remember that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you choosing to not have a holy convocation because you're unclean and don't want to show up to 172.
Oh,
04, what's the name? Linden. You dig what I'm saying? Because you ain't finna tell me this the tabernacle. It don't look like no tabernacle to me. I was here when there wasn't none of this in here.
Right.
It's not the tabernacle.
right.
Trust me. That part I know. You know what I'm saying? You was here.
We know.
This ain't the tabernacle, right? That's what I'm saying. This ain't the tabernacle. Did y'all know it was a wall right there?
They sure
That's what I'm saying. This ain't the tabernacle. Right. She looking like that. Y'all had a wall right here? Yeah, we did. Right, that's what I'm saying. This ain't the tabernacle.
Floor.
This something we done, that's what I'm saying. This something we done put together. You know what I mean?
There was no stage.
No, it was no stage, bro. That's what I'm saying. We built the
I get a
stage.
number, yeah.
Isaiah 24 and pick it up in verse 5 again. We read it once, but we're gonna read it one more time. Go ahead.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
There you go right there. The earth is defiled with the inhabitants thereof. You can't win. Meaning it don't matter. Like how we gonna not come here and they got church right there? They got church right there. You got Chinese, Jamaican. Lord have mercy, West Indies. Though fish make me sick, so it ain't none of it good to me. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, nah, yeah, come to church. That's what I suggest. Come to church. Don't miss because you think. Now, hey, if you're sick, then you're sick. You know what I mean? Some people get really bad during that time of the month. But like I say, you come to church. You been unclean. This ain't the tabernacle. So that's all I have to say about that. So any more questions? Comment? Go ahead, sis.
Does that still go with the child purification as well?
It does. But here's the thing that you got to realize too. God said so for a reason, though. Let's go look at that. You understand what I'm saying? Let's look at that child purification. Leviticus chapter 12. When I say he said so for a reason, like, your womb ain't even closed up like that. Week 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so, like God giving you, it's just like how God said you got to be 30 to start in the ministry, or 25 and 30, right? Like he ain't saying you got to be 25 or 30 to stand right here, but he had Levitical priesthood stuff, and at 25 and 30 was when you could start doing it. Where those numbers, although it might not be unlawful for you to start teaching at age 30 or something, but still though, it's a level of maturity that you're going to hit at those ages. God know that. So the law still has a reason for existing, even though it might not be something that you can uphold. So me, I'm going to wait. Like Mikhail, you know what I'm saying? What he about, 19 or something like that? Yeah, bro, like now I might work with him. He might get out there in the streets with me some. But he ain't going to stand up here till he's 30. You see what not because it would be illegal, because he might if he had to. But I'm saying just because it's wisdom about it. There's a level of wisdom there that once you hit a certain mark, obviously, so let's just wait on that. We shouldn't need you. It's just like women. It's not a woman's job to sit right there. Don't mean she can't, but it's a reason. I listened to Micaiah read yesterday. Micaiah is very smart, very articulate, all that. I was listening to her. I said, don't you ever talk about your brother reading again. And make it so bad she ain't mess up one word. So figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, nah, bro. Your reading on, I mean, and she like and she read like somebody who got an education, but you ain't reading this book. Like I don't hear no, like who was just talking then? Was it God or Mary? You know what I'm saying? Like can you help us out here? Meaning like yeah, it might be. It's a reason why God got everything set up the way He set it up. So I would try to stick with that if I can. Like, I'm not gonna put you out of my house till you ready to get married, till you established in life. But you sure ain't grown at 18 though. Even the book give you 20. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, the stuff in here is still some good, even though it's some wisdom behind it. So let's look at Leviticus chapter 12. Pick it up verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of her separation. For her infirmity shall she be unclean.
So she unclean 7 days off top. Go ahead.
And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised,
Uh-huh.
and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days.
So she gonna end up for 40 days. That's like a little more than a month of being with a man child. She gonna be like 40 days where until she's clean. Number one, we're gonna leave the relations out. That's a 0. We not just like during the 7-day cycle, no relations. Then we're gonna do the same thing for the whole 40 on a boy and more for a girl. But it's a reason, like something going on with her. Like when I say something going on with her, I've never been pregnant. You know what I'm saying? But I know one thing. I seen the head come out, and I know that it got to go back to size. Like what I just seen is not. No, I'm just being honest. Like it got to I seen the whole body come out. Like I still got the vision in my face, and it's not the same size anymore. Like it's not that size now. So what I'm saying is, all this has to heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, just think, man, that placenta pop out, like, and it stink too. So I'm just like all this, it does. Like, so I'm just saying, your body has to have time to heal. So God knows what he's doing. So he put a number out there. Now, so you might say, well, okay, but can I go to church? You can, but is it going to hurt you to stay home for a month and a week? So that you and your baby can be all right? Like, do you got to bring your baby out in this winter of New York that you just had? You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord looking out for you. He's saying stay home for once. You know what I'm saying? But again, no, you don't have to. You're not saving nothing around. You're not. Only thing you doing if you what you doing by coming is you're gonna drive everybody crazy. That's what you're gonna do if you show up. I'm just gonna let you know. Because your baby ain't gonna stop crying. You gonna keep moving. Just stay home. That's probably the best. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like for all practical purposes, you're getting a pass. Stay home if you have a baby. Give it that 40-day period. Most Israelite women do. You know what I'm saying? In modern day, most do. But it's not unlawful for her to come to class. I just say use the wisdom in it. What else is here? Keep reading.
She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary.
Now the sanctuary again is not this. This ain't the sanctuary. The sanctuary, go back to Hebrews 9. The sanctuary had Aaron's rod in there. The sanctuary is very specific. We're not going to act like every church. Now, we call the football field a sanctuary. So sanctuary has another, it has more than one definition. You know what I mean? So, sort of. So, like, you can say this the sanctuary if you want to, but not the sanctuary. That's what I'm getting at. This can be your sanctuary. It is our sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to what we got going. When you walk in these doors, you need to walk in here with respect, like you entered into a sanctuary. Just know this ain't the sanctuary that they referring to. That was in the with the veil and all that. Go ahead. What verse?
And the 4th, until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Yes.
But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 60 days.
Uh-huh.
And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for her son or for her daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest.
Yeah. So you see, it's different for a maid child. Verse 5, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks as a separation, and then she got a whole nother 3 scores. So what's that? 66. So she got 66 plus 14,
I
right?
was a little confused when I
So
had
that's
twins.
80, right? 80 for a girl and 40 for a boy.
I added them together.
I was gonna say, it says continue. So when you say continue, are you adding 66 or you just continue?
I'm adding the 66 to the 14.
Okay.
It's because it's 2 different things. So it says, verse 5, but if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks. So you're unclean 2 weeks when you bear that maid child,
Right.
as in her separation. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying for an additional 66. Right. Yep. So that's gonna give you an 80 spot. So what's that? About 3 months and some change? Is that right? Or 2? What's that? Is that about 2?
So almost
About 2.
three.
Yeah.
So it's a whole year.
Almost 3 months. Yeah,
But
so
if you have twins with a boy and a girl,
then you still got 80. You know what I mean? We not gonna say we got 40 plus 80. Lord have mercy.
I did it.
Poor husband. You did 40 plus
I
80?
plus the two. I was like, yo, I didn't know y'all. That was before I was by myself, bro. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be.
I respect that, my brother.
I didn't know.
That's how you prevent from having them back to back like brother JD. So I get it, my brother.
I was like, yo.
Wow, yeah. You say this is a long time. The Lord be punishing Jake for having kids. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, so it's just one time if you had twins, you just take the girl version and do this. But if she had twins, man, like, shoot, she probably don't want to do nothing no way. She probably be looking at you mad. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, yeah. So you don't have to add them up if you had twins. If you had two boys, it's still gonna be 40. You know, that type of thing. And like I said, give yourself time to heal. So I suggest if somebody was to ask me what should they do, you know, and I think I'm somebody you can ask. I've walked down that path quite a bit. I'm gonna say stay home. Like that's what I'm gonna say to the woman. I'm gonna be like, stay home, enjoy your rest. You know what I'm saying? Let your days pass, and then bring your baby out. I'm bring your baby up here. Everybody gonna be trying to pick up your baby anyway. Trust me, you don't want that. She gonna come home the first Sabbath all rashed out and everything. Like you don't want that anyway. And so what I'm saying is God know better than man. So you know what he be doing. So it's for everybody benefit. Any other questions and or comments?
Just because it looks like after her cycle and even after this purification, that she's separated from the tabernacle and the sanctuary, but then she still has to offer a sin offering and a burnt offering. I just don't understand if she's separated. What's the sin or what's the purpose of the offering?
She wasn't
If
keeping a holy
she's not even
convocation
getting
that whole
close
time.
to the,
I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing about it.
or just being unclean every month.
But here's the thing. No, I get it. But here's the thing. When God says 6 days, you know, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Is he talking to men or women? So you done let 7 days go by that you had your holy convocation. Now it don't mean you wicked and you going to hell, but you still didn't do what you was told to do. Just drop that sin off and call it a day. You know what I mean? Just that simple. You know. Plus, you talk about sins of men anyway. The Lord he just always got you doing. It ain't just this time. He got you doing the sin offering, peace offering. We ain't got to do none of them now, though. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you stayed home. You got to remember, it said that the woman was going to be saved in childbearing. This whole process is saving you. But you got to remember, you at home while he at church. He having all the convocation and you not. But all y'all commanded to. So, yeah, just drop the offerings and keep it moving. Yeah. Go ahead, sis. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what verse it is, the scripture, but it says, "Do not give to a sinner, but to the godly." So when it says "do not give," does that mean in monetarily ways, or in food, or in drink? When it says "do not give to a sinner," if you know someone is a sinner, they ask to borrow $15.
See, I don't know where that's at. That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Help me find that one, because I can show you another scripture where it say don't. Now, I don't know exactly what, because I could say, in one place it say don't cast your pearls amongst the swine. Like, I don't know exactly what you're looking for, so you're going to have to help me out on that one, but I will show you where the Lord say he rained blessings on the just and the unjust. So that's why I'm like, show me what I'm not saying you don't know what you saying.
No, what it is that I have the Apocrypha too. I think it's in Ecclesiasticus, so that's why.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I had the Apocrypha too.
It's in Ecclesiasticus. It says "do not give to the sinner," so I can't.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's look at this script real quick. Just and unjust. Let's see if we can find that. Just and unjust. Let's see. Matthew 5. Okay, yeah. Matthew 5, and let's verse 43. Matthew 5, and then if it's in if you saying it's in the Ecclesiasticus, share that with me.
Okay.
Meaning, let me know. I give you my number. You can text me. 404.
I googled it.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it was 12 and 4.
Ecclesiasticus.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, I need you to. Yeah. 404 966-6378. Just send that to me. Screenshot, whatever, however you can send it to me, because I don't want to forget it. That's what I'm saying. Even with you telling me, I'm not gonna remember. That's all because I'll go home and look at it and look at the whole chapter and all that.
Okay.
But Matthew 5, and let's pick it up in verse 43.
Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy.
So like that's, you know what I mean? That's kind of on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it tell you love your neighbor and hate your enemy. You done heard that. Matter of fact, he quoting. Let me make sure that my Bible ain't lying to me. Leviticus 19 and 18. Let me check. A quick second. Leviticus 19.
Solomon.
No, I'm talking about what he quoting that. Chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Yeah, I don't know why they got that on there, but I'm trying to see where it's saying hate thine enemy. I don't know where that's at, but it say Jesus got it in here. So he say, and you should have heard that it have been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. Verse 44.
But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Go ahead.
That he may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust.
Go ahead.
For if he love them which love you, what reward have ye?
Go ahead.
Do not even the publicans the same?
Mm-hmm.
And if you salute your brethren alone, only, what do he more than others?
Go ahead.
Do not even the publicans so?
Go ahead.
Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
So I know that's in there, but like I say, if you I'll check it out, and like I said, if you send it to me, then I will read it and correspond back with you. You know what I'm saying, sis? Like, so we can, all right, Hebrew, peace to you. And we can kind of correspond a little bit. So don't leave yet, Whitney. Whitney, don't leave yet. No, like, come on, y'all. We can close it out. And then y'all can still have more questions if you want to. That's cool, but we might as well. He's leaving. The Sabbath is over with. I'd rather close it out. And then y'all get up out of here and close out together. Y'all got more questions? Don't worry. You can ask them.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory forever.
and the glory forever.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. So did we have any? Okay, you can go now. Look, you can be dismissed now, son. Not just playing. Peace to you, sis. Thank y'all for waiting. I said, I'd rather us close out together than, what I mean, be getting people up out of here. I'm still here for any questions if we got them, though. Oh, we're gonna close out. Nobody got no more questions.
You closed out.
What you got?
So Leviticus 15 and 28
Yeah.
kind of reads, and I know that the fake Jews do this.
Yeah.
They wait 14 days, and on that 15th day, she's unclean.
Right.
Leviticus 15:28 kind of reads that way, so I want to know what you think about that.
But it says 15 and 27. It says whosoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until evening. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she should number herself 7 days, and after that she should be clean. And on the 8th day, so look, here's the way to look at it. She won't be clean on the 8th day. Here's the way to look at it. So when you start talking about circumcision and being on the cycle, it's quite similar to mankind. Meaning mankind gonna be flesh and blood gonna be on the earth for how many days? 7. But then guess what? 8th day too. You get it? But inside that 8th day, the Father gonna come back. So it's like not a whole 8th day, just a part of it. Like it say a little season. How is that a little season? Don't matter. So when you look back at this, it's the same. The way I'm going to understand it, if you follow what I'm saying, to know I'm clear is I'm gonna take my other point of reference. You know what I'm saying? And be like, all right, so this must be how it is. So he says, what was you said 27, I think? 28, it don't matter. And whosoever touches those things shall be unclean and shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, being clean until evening. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she should number herself 7 days, and after that she should be clean. So she gonna be clean on the 8th day. Then it says, and on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles and 2 young pigeons. So is she clean before then? It don't really matter. You dig what I'm saying? Because you ain't about to do nothing. You ain't about to do nothing with her until she does this. You dig what I'm saying? It ain't like soon as the 7th day over with. Well, babe, I know you ain't went to the priest, but you ain't gonna play with it. You're gonna be like, go do what you need to do so we can get this over with. So he says, but if she be cleansed of her issue, then she should number herself 7 days, and after that she should be cleansed. And on the 8th day she should take unto her 2 turtle doves, 2 young pigeons, and bring them into the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And notice too how she don't get to go in. It's the 8th day, she dropping them off at the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, so because she don't want to defile the tabernacle. And then it's saying, and the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, here we go again, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for her issue of uncleanliness. And just for record's sake, when you unclean, you unclean. Like you need unclean ain't righteous. Now it don't matter. It's not saying that you did something unrighteous when you on your cycle, but I'm saying when you unclean, that's not equal in righteousness. It's equal being unclean. So mankind shouldn't have to go down that path. But since we done sinned off the rip, now we got, when a woman, she do this, she unclean, or when a man do this, he unclean. All of that is because of sin. So when you start talking about having that sin offering, it's just because sin exists, period. We shouldn't technically be traveling this path had we not sinned, even though we know that was gonna never happen. So I just want to put that out there because somebody asked about why would a woman still have a sin offering when she did nothing to be unclean? And it's not about her. It's about mankind. You got to remember that woman is saved in childbearing. So that help answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Y'all got any more? Okay, well, we already closed out, so you ain't got to go home, but you get the heck out of here. No, just playing. Nah, y'all definitely ain't got to go home. Y'all partying tonight or something? You partying, bro? They say you probably where at I ain't partying. I'm going home. I'm going back to Philly. I'm gonna take Nate with me. I'll bring you back in the morning. Now, about 5 years ago, you would have took me up on that.
Yeah, sure.
Nah, you good, Hebrew.
I was gonna close out again.
Oh no, it's all I know, right?
You wanna end that?
Yeah.
You just